One man, one mission, to rid the world of chronic anxiety once and for all. The Anxiety Guy, Dennis Simsek, shares his personal transformation from living a life filled with overwhelming worry to becoming a full-fledged positivity machine, a leading authority in generalized anxiety. Dennis gets to the truth of your mental health challenges and sets you on a path to transforming each and every area of your life. Here he is, the one and only, the Anxiety Guy.
Warriors, welcome to episode number 125 of the Anxiety Guy podcast. I'm Dennis Simsek, and today we are discussing everything related to exhaustion and anxiety. And I'm not talking about suffering and staying in that anxious state. I'm talking about people that are on the road to recovery, getting to a better place in their lives, adding new habits, shifting the way they think, and just really putting in the effort mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, energetically, and still feeling fatigued and tired at the end of the day. And not even at the end of the day, even during the day. Dennis, what's going on? Many questions. Let's understand, my friends, first and foremost, that brains are expensive energy-wise. Brains are expensive, okay? 20% of the calories we consume are used to power the brain. Now, when we're talking about the brain, we're talking about an operating system that wants to operate in the most energy efficient way possible, which means it only processes the minimum amount of information from our senses that we need to navigate the world. So, with people that are getting to a better place and consciously starting to shift their lives, shifting the way they feel, shifting the way they think, we are using up, in fact, more energy sources than we would if things were automatic. So I could be going through the day and all of a sudden I've got this habit of mind reading people. Oh my goodness, did that person think this way about me? Why are they staring at me? Oh my goodness, I said the wrong thing. Are they judging me? When I can begin to get rid of that automatic way of thinking and replace it with something new, I need to consciously step in and take some form of action. That action right there uses up brain fuel. And the more new action I have to take throughout the day, being aware of my 80,000 thoughts that I get throughout the day, obviously not all of them, but the ones that I tend to entertain more than others, the more I am aware of those thoughts that I entertain the most and my ability to shift those thoughts and begin thinking about things in a different manner uses up brain fuel. Now let's understand that your eyes are open, okay, from 7 a.m. all the way till 10 p.m. or whatever it may be. Visual data goes through much more complex processing than auditory data. So when you're looking around, you're constantly using up energy, and that's why I keep telling people that they've got to give themselves mini vacations throughout the day where they take time to close their eyes and relax and just escape the world as much as you can. This will reboot the system. This will create more willpower points within you in order to make those decisions that you need to make to shift your identity and your character as a whole. Now, when understanding the brain, let's also understand that it's just as active at night as it is during the day. During sleep, neurons simply coordinate with one another differently, and it enters a more synchronized rhythmic state. So a lot of people wake up in the morning and they say, wow, I'm really fatigued, I'm anxious, why? I just had 8-9 hours of sleep. The truth is that many times we don't have the ability to control how we feel and what emotions come up. So much of it is unconscious. So much of it is based around things that are in our environment that's outside of our conscious awareness. So much of it is based around memory and the decisions and experiences that we've had before. The problem becomes when we get anxious over feeling anxious, when we get depressed over feeling anxious, when we get more stressed over something that stressed us out. This is called the Kubert effect, where you jump from one thing to the other, and next thing you know, you get into a state of mind and body where you can't get through a day without pinpointing something that's wrong within you or within the world. This is a problem. This becomes automatic. And my friends, this uses up a ton of energy sources because now you're in survival mode. The longer you stay in survival mode, the more energy you're using up, the more fight or flight response is kicking, the more adrenaline and cortisol is being released into your system, and this is a massive problem in today's world. And to understand exhaustion in the brain a little bit further, let's understand something here. Imagine that you're actually walking towards an ice cream store, and you're walking in, and you notice that you got to make a decision between getting the mint ice cream and getting the chocolate. All of a sudden in your brain, there are two networks opposing each other, fighting each other, trying to gain the upper hand, and they are intensifying its own activity, and it's trying to suppress the other ones. They fight it out until one of them triumphs in a winner-take-all competition. And the truth is that the winning network defines what you do next. This takes up energy. Every single conscious decision you have to make throughout the day that has not gone through a minimum of a 3-month period is using up energy. Our job is to get to a place where we identify that just because we feel something doesn't mean we have to act on that feeling. It doesn't mean we have to think in accordance with that feeling. It doesn't mean we have to be that feeling. We don't have to internalize anything that we're feeling or the emotions that come up. So many people label themselves as saying, I have an anxiety disorder. Nobody ever diagnosed them. No doctor ever diagnosed them. But because of the amount of anxiousness that they feel throughout the day, they have diagnosed themselves. Or, I'm just an angry person. What do you mean you're an angry person? You got angry 4 times throughout the day in 10-second intervals. Does that actually mean that you can generalize yourself as an angry person? No. What about the rest of the time? So you can see how we're so quick to label ourselves and to judge ourselves so harshly, and rarely do we ever take the time to judge and label ourselves less and to allow ourselves to feel and go through the process of different emotions and feelings. If we continue labeling the process, the journey towards anxiety recovery, if we continue to recognize how we've been failing based around the expectations we have about recovery, then, my friends, we will always see ourselves as failures. We must let go of the expectations once and for all. We must get to a place where we understand that the molding process of character development is a journey. There is no finish line on this journey. So while you're on this journey, you might as well embrace every single emotion, every feeling, and even exhaustion when it shows up, knowing that exhaustion is not a bad thing. It shows that you're putting in the conscious work. And in time, you will get to a place of unconscious competence where it's just like walking, where it's just like driving, where it's just like talking. All those thoughts that you're trying to consciously shift, all those memories that you're trying to perceive differently, all those new behaviors that you're trying to embrace will soon become unconscious. And when it does, your entire identity and character will change. This is the path that you're on. So, my friends, in closing this podcast episode, I want you to understand one clear message today. And that message is that stop being so hard on yourself. Just because you're feeling a different way than what your expectation is, just because you're feeling something that's unfamiliar than what you normally feel, my friends, you've got to get to a more gentler place in your self-talk and the way you see yourself. If you can just treat those things that we call negative emotions as being a companion right now, rather than reacting to them, rather than judging them, my friends, they will subside in time and something else will take its place. Remember, where your focus goes and where your thinking goes is where the emotional charge goes. So the more you get concerned over the feeling and the exhaustion and the fatigue, you are just charging that in a more greater sense, which gives you more of those bad feelings. But if you can go through the day just not analyzing, but just being less reactive to when you feel those things, you're going to find that you get to a much more peaceful place with yourself and you learn a ton more about your emotions and you as a whole. So let's make this priority number one this week. I love you all so much. You are more than anxiety. I'll see you real soon.
Thanks for being an important part of the Anxiety Guy podcast community. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a positive rate and review. If you're searching for further support on your road to recovery from anxiety, head over to anxietyexit.com and take part in the powerful End the Anxiety program based around the CBT model. If you're searching for a more one-on-one approach, you can sign up now for personal coaching sessions with Dennis via Skype. Remember, you are more than anxiety. See you in the next episode.